In the autumn of 1972, the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria hummed with the quiet rhythm of rural life. The small town of Varna, nestled between rolling hills and the shimmering sea, was known for its fishing boats and modest markets, not for secrets buried beneath its soil. Raycho Marinov, a 22-year-old tractor driver, was not a man who dreamed of history. His days were spent coaxing crops from stubborn earth, his hands calloused from labor, his mind on the next harvest. But on October 22nd, as his tractor rumbled over a field near Lake Varna, the ground gave way to something extraordinary, a discovery that would rewrite humanity's story. Raycho's tractor lurched as its blade caught on something hard. Cursing under his breath, he hopped down, expecting a rock or a forgotten plow. Instead, as he brushed away the dirt, a glint of metal caught the fading sunlight. He knelt, heart pounding, and unearthed a small, intricately carved gold ring. It wasn't just gold. It was ancient, heavier than it looked, etched with symbols that seemed to whisper of a time long forgotten. Raycho, a man of practicality, felt an unfamiliar chill. He tucked the ring into his pocket and scanned the field, suddenly aware of the weight of the earth beneath him. The next day, Raycho took the ring to the local museum, a modest building staffed by a single curator, Dr. Elena Petrova. Elena, a woman in her 50s with a passion for Bulgaria's past, was skeptical at first. Farmers often brought her curious stones or rusted tools, claiming them as treasures. But when she held the ring, her breath caught. Its craftsmanship was unlike anything she'd seen. Not Thracian, not Roman, but older, impossibly older. She convinced Raycho to show her the site, and together they returned to the field, armed with shovels and a sense of something momentous. What they uncovered over the next weeks was beyond imagination. The field hid a necropolis, a sprawling burial ground from the 5th millennium BC. Grave after grave revealed treasures, gold jewelry, scepters, and ornaments, each piece more exquisite than the last. The most astonishing find was Grave 43, where a skeleton lay adorned with over a kilogram of gold, rings, necklaces, and a ceremonial axe that gleamed as if newly forged. Elena's hands trembled as she cataloged the artifacts. These were not mere trinkets. They were evidence of a civilization that predated the pyramids, older than Mesopotamia's earliest cities. Raycho, initially bewildered by the fuss, found himself drawn into Elena's world. She explained that the gold wasn't just beautiful, it was revolutionary. The Varna Necropolis suggested a society with advanced metallurgy, social hierarchy, and trade networks, challenging the belief that such sophistication emerged only later in Mesopotamia or Egypt. Raycho, who had never left Varna, began to see his hometown as a crossroads of an ancient world. But as news of the discovery spread, so did complications. The Bulgarian government, under communist rule, saw the find as a propaganda tool. Officials descended on Varna, eager to claim the gold as a symbol of national pride. Elena, fiercely protective of the artifacts, clashed with bureaucrats who cared more for headlines than history. Raycho, meanwhile, faced whispers from neighbors. Some called him a hero, others accused him of stirring trouble. The local tavern buzzed with rumors. Was the gold cursed? Would it bring wealth or ruin? Raycho's simple life unraveled as he became a reluctant guardian of a past he barely understood. Elena enlisted Raycho's help to protect the site. They worked late into the night, cataloging artifacts under flickering lanterns, racing against time as officials demanded the gold be moved to Sofia. Elena shared stories of the Copper Age people who created these treasures, how they likely worshipped the sun, buried their leaders with gold to honor their status, and traded across seas. Raycho, once indifferent to history, began to imagine these ancient people, their lives not so different from his own, bound to the land, yet reaching for something greater. The turning point came when Grave 43's occupant was fully excavated. The skeleton, likely a male leader, wore a gold armband inscribed with symbols that hinted at a proto-writing system. Elena's voice shook as she explained its significance. This could be the earliest evidence of written communication, predating Sumerian scripts by centuries. For Raycho, the discovery became personal. His father, a fisherman who died when Raycho was young, had once told him that the sea and land held secrets older than time. Holding the armband, Raycho felt a connection to his father and to the ancient hands that crafted it. But the government's pressure intensified. A high-ranking official, Ivan Kostov, arrived with orders to transport the gold immediately. Elena suspected Kostov planned to display the artifacts without proper study, risking damage or theft. She and Raycho devised a desperate plan. Under the guise of cataloging, they hid key pieces, Grave 43's armband and scepter, in a locked museum storeroom, replacing them with replicas crafted by a local jeweler. It was a dangerous gamble, but Elena believed the truth of Varna's past was worth the risk. The ruse worked, but not for long. Kostov grew suspicious, and one stormy night, he confronted Elena at the museum. Raycho, who had taken to guarding the site, overheard the argument and intervened, confessing their deception. Kostov, furious, threatened to arrest them both. But Raycho, emboldened by his newfound sense of purpose, spoke of the gold's meaning, not as a trophy, but as a window into humanity's beginnings. He told Kostov of the people who wore the gold, their lives and dreams, and how their story belonged to the world, not just Bulgaria. Something in Raycho's words reached Kostov. Perhaps it was the sincerity of a farmer who had stumbled into history, or perhaps it was the storm outside, a reminder of forces greater than politics. Kostov agreed to delay the transfer, giving Elena time to secure international support. Archaeologists from across Europe arrived, and the Varna Necropolis was declared a global treasure. The gold was studied, preserved, and eventually displayed, not as a symbol of state power, but as a testament to human ingenuity. Years later, in 1980, Raycho stood before a museum exhibit in Varna, now a local hero. The gold of Grave 43 gleamed under glass, its story told in plaques that credited his discovery. Elena, now retired, stood beside him, her eyes bright with pride. Raycho had returned to his tractor, but he was no longer just a farmer. He carried the weight of history, a man who had touched the past and given it a voice. The Varna Necropolis revealed a truth that captivated the world. As early as 4600 BC, a sophisticated society thrived in Europe, crafting gold with skill unmatched for millennia. Its discovery reshaped archaeology, proving that civilization's roots ran deeper and wider than anyone had imagined. For Raycho, it was more than a find. It was a journey from a quiet field to the heart of human history, a story of gold that bound him to the ancients and to generations yet to come.